What's up, guys? Quick video. I realize there isn't a lot of videos on AirDog lift pumps when it pertains to the series with the air separation. So like the PureFlow AirDog stuff, not the Raptor stuff. Raptor stuff is a regular straight lift pump. So I figured I'd do an unboxing of all the stuff when it comes to the AirDog lift pump. So these are the instructions. I'll pull out a few little things out of these in a minute. This is your wiring, your hose, and all the lift pump and hardware and everything, and I'll get to that stuff. I'm just going to set the camera up. This stuff's kind of greasy, so have gloves on or not care about getting a little bit of grease from manufacturing stuff on your hands. Let me just bring this down a tiny bit. So first of all, really heavy duty wiring harness they give you with this stuff. Just so everybody's aware, this is very similar to aftermarket wiring harnesses for 6.5s with all super heavy duty cables and everything. This trigger wire can be wired straight to your factory lift pump power trigger wire harness, or you can do a fuse tap. In the instructions they show you what fuse is a key on power source. That doesn't exactly protect your truck against if the truck wants to shut the lift pump off for reasons of like a rollover or something like that, though. So I like to have it on the trigger wire like it's supposed to be. So when you turn the key on, it's not always just pumping fuel with the injection pump. Really heavy duty, nice weather pack relay. Really heavy duty wiring to connect directly to your battery or to your fuse source on your fuse panel. Then the plug for the lift pump itself. So move on to the next one. I'm just going to put that down to put the lift pump on. Big quantity of hose. I believe it's 20-25 feet. Remember that if you're running hose from, you have to run 3 hoses, one from the tank to the lift pump, then from the lift pump to the engine, or you can use the supplied fittings and cut your factory steel line. I'll talk about that in a minute. But then this also has to go back to a fitting in your hardware box that goes into your filler neck. So there's a filler neck piece. It is directional. It has a small little, let me see if I can get a good shot of this. There's a small little like thing in there for when you have this on your truck. The direction will go towards the tank, and that little finger in there will make sure the fuel always flows towards the tank and does not come back at you. There's some mounting plates. This is your outside mounting plate. This is your inside mounting plate. This right here has recessed holes on it. This right here has recessed holes on it so that you have adjustability to where the lift pump sits on your frame rail. So it would sit on your frame rail. These two would sandwich your frame, and those holes would actually index where the pump sits. Then you have a couple of hose clamps they give you in the box for said piece for the filler neck. You have a good assortment of fittings for the lift pump. 3 of them install into the lift pump body itself, and then there's some quick disconnect fittings. This is one of the parts, in my opinion, that is kind of the best when it comes to the lift pump for installation to the truck itself, because it just there's so much so many ways for you to need to service your fuel system, and to have these quick connects that work really well. Then you have a fuel block that will space your lift pump off of your bracket itself. Some more hardware. They also give you some seals for the lift pump to service it in the future. A liberal amount of zip ties. And they give you a bracket. This bracket mounts like this on the frame, and the filters will come down from it. The lift pump itself is in this box right here. It's pretty greasy. Oh, heavy too. So this lift pump right here is a 100 gallon per hour lift pump. So it is a DF 100 4G. It has a, try to do this so you guys can see it. I don't get too much in your way. It has a, let me just completely unbox this thing, so that, unpackage this thing, should I say, so that you guys can see it. I've unboxed a million of these and put them on guys' trucks, but I haven't unpackaged this one yet. So this has an adjustment right here, a fuel outlet, fuel inlet for the return air fuel mixture to the tank, and there is a fuel pressure tap on the back side here. Right, there's a fuel pressure tap right there that you can tap fuel pressure for. With that said, that's not what I plan on doing with my system. I'm going to run a little bit different setup than a fuel pressure gauge on there. You don't have to run a fuel pressure gauge, but it's a good fuel pressure tap for if you want to check the fuel pressure once you install this, because you definitely don't want to run over like 15 psi of fuel pressure on this system, on a 6.5 fuel system. So directions are fairly clear. They have some pictures that you're not going to recognize because they're, even like the battery photo is just a generic photo that they had. I'm going to show you a couple photos right now, or take pictures of them and stick them into the into there. But right here, this photo right here is supposed to be the fuel line coming from the motor, and then this fuel line right here is just a long picture from it coming from the motor. And then they have you cut the line kind of far back on the frame. Whoops, don't want to hit the camera too much. Kind of far back on the frame, and they have you connect the line right there. That's what these fittings are for. These fittings right here that I've made these up. These just come loose in the bag. You have to kind of make these things up. These fittings right here, this one and this one, these are so that you can cut your factory line and install this without having to buy any extra stuff. It's just, these right here are dash 10. They're just made so that you can bolt it in, push lock the hose push lock hose onto these fittings, and compression fitting onto your stock steel line. If you don't have any kind of upgrades. Now, the Suburban this is going on is got upgraded fuel sending unit from Quadstar Tuning, and that's where I purchased this pump from. He's a very reputable source for parts, very fair pricing. Moving on from that, am going to talk about what I'm doing instead of cutting the factory line, because I have half-inch hose already running. This half-inch hose is already running from the factory, tank with the aftermarket fuel sender with a Metrum rod that I got from Quadstar, with half-inch push lock, good quality hose, up to fuel filter base, like one of these. These are what everyone's building nowadays, to switch to a spin-on filter instead of the factory filter and leaky base, or leaky housing, should I say. So then I got this fitting, which goes from your injection pump to a dash 6 push lock fitting. And that fitting right there is going to go to this thing that I built. So I bought these fittings myself. They are going to pretty much, this is a 1/8 NPT. It's for the filter, the sensor that is going to run the fuel pressure that I already have in the truck. This is 3/8, and then I'm going to put, this is a different fitting than what I have. It's on its way here. This is just half-inch NPT. The whole block is half-inch NPT, and this is going to go to a push lock fitting for the push lock hose. So the hose is going to come up to the motor, transfer to 3/8 to the injection pump, because you can't get a fitting yet. I'm sure somebody will make one eventually to go straight to half-inch push lock there. So this is just to bleed fuel, to be able to drain fuel, to run the pump and drain the fuel tank, to be able to pump fuel into somebody else's truck in an emergency if they're running out of fuel. Numerous things, but I like to have things be a little bit more utilitarian, and this helps you bleed air out of the system. up to the truck, and also helps you to be able to throw fuel in someone else's truck. But it also makes it so that you could take a fuel sample and send it off, so that you could bleed air out after doing a repair easily. Numerous different things. Even check fuel pressure if you didn't happen to have an actual gauge on this like I do. It's an easy place to check fuel pressure other than climbing under the truck and plugging into the pump. So with that said, I don't want this video to be super long. I hope you guys liked this video. The manual is really straightforward. If you're just trying to bolt this in a truck and you want to upgrade the fuel lines and hose later, then run longer lines right to the motor, you can do that. This kit is all in one. You bolt it in, you run your hose and your lines, you cut your fuel filler hose, you install this, and you're on your way. Other than that, guys, hopefully you found this helpful. I'll have a video coming out of the install on the Suburban. It transfers somewhat to a pickup truck. I'm sure I will do one in the future on a pickup truck. If you'd like me to, I'll do one quicker. There are people also, side note, there are people that have fittings out there. I believe Quadstar sells them, a few other vendors sell them, that go from your factory fuel line O-ring nuts to 1/2-inch push lock or 1/2-inch hose so you can clamp it. You could also get those to put on your sending unit and run 1/2-inch hose to the lift pump from your factory sending unit, and then to either your all the way up and do something like this, or to your factory 3/8 line. I don't know why you would, but if you want to, and keep all your stock lines in place, that's a possibility. But be mindful, you only have a certain amount of footage of this hose, so don't use it all in one place. Or ask John for extra. He's got it in stock, I'm sure, because he sells it with his fuel sending unit kits. So like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you liked or didn't like about this video, please. I'll help you with what I can. And I'll be sure to post that other video as soon as I get this put in and put together. So take it easy, guys, and see you later.